Denny Van here with Heartfelt Awakening. I help you accelerate your personal and spiritual growth. And we are on part 3 of our 8-part series, 8 things to know when you're starting out on your spiritual awakening process. So this was the third most popular category in our poll that we gave and had hundreds of responses. And so we took those responses and we discovered they fell into 8 categories. And so category number 3 is pretty much balance. And category number 3 talks about the importance of balance. And for me, balance is number 1. Getting balanced in my life, balanced in my thoughts, balanced in what I feed my body, balanced in when I make major choices in my life, bringing that balance to myself first, and then making a choice from this space has really become a powerful process that I incorporate as well. And so some of the responses were just so beautiful when it comes to balance. Go with the flow was a very common thing. So when you're balanced and you're flowing, you're able to kind of keep your center, right? But if I want to go off the flow and I want to go in a different direction, just thinking about going in a different direction can throw me off balance, right? Have you ever been driving a car and then you're looking over somewhere and all of a sudden you're driving in that direction? You're off balance, right? So going with the flow was probably one of the most popular responses when it comes to balance. And then take your time. You are love. Everything will work out. Smile and be happy. So this puts you in a state of balance automatically when you're able to let some of those things go, going with the flow, see what comes, what come may. We have no control over those things. And be a researcher of truth and don't get stuck in any belief. This is important because there's many religious organizations that might throw the human off balance. And be aware of that. It's kind of like that fine line between really showing you a path and modeling the path or becoming a cult with an agenda, right? So they're saying be a researcher, make your own decisions, make your own choices. Don't let anybody tell you, hey, come this way, this is the way. Stand in your center, be balanced, listen to them, but don't put your faith in any person, place, or thing. Your faith is in your center with your own balance, because only you know when you're off balance, right? So this is an inner experience. And somebody mentioned a clean diet as part of balance. And I'm going to have to agree with that. Balance in being aware of what your body needs. Because what your brain wants, Twinkies, ho-hos, pop, all that stuff, and what your body needs might be something totally different. So finding that balance between what your body needs and giving your body what it needs 80% of the time, and maybe only giving what your brain wants 20% of the time. So this could actually be your balance. Because for somebody saying, I cut out all sugar, what's going to happen is all sugar is going to come into their experience. So you want to decide and come from a space of deciding and knowing what is best for you. And people can help, but all of the answers are inside. And what I do is I guide people. I can say, hey, look, the moon is over there. See it? Isn't it beautiful? But you have to physically look up, acknowledge it, and see it for yourself. I can tell you how beautiful the moon is. I can talk about it all day long. I can guide you to it, but you have to experience it. And this is where you find your balance, when you're experiencing it. Because a lot of people on the spiritual journey, they'll have a lot of knowledge, intellectual knowledge, but they've never experienced it. This is where you have to come into your balance. And somebody mentioned, actually several people mentioned, surrender as part of balance. Because sometimes when we're trying to control everything, if we just let go of the controls, it's going to go on its own. So surrender to the process, allow the process. And you might feel like you're going crazy, but somebody recommended breathe gently, be kind to yourself, deeply, consciously. There was a lot of talk about drinking lots of water for balance. Take in some water. Water is an energy conductor. Our bodies need water. Take in this water for balance. Grounding. Grounding is important for balance. We talked about grounding in part 2 of our series. And connect with this source. And this source is your sixth sense. It's a knowing. It's your energy. It's your power. It's your balance. And be patient with yourself, because we tend to want the things. We want the manifestations. We put some of those manifestations, we make them very, very important, right? But this is creating a space of being impatient. But just know it's here. And when I'm supposed to have it, it will be here. And this is a state of faith and being the fulcrum of this space of balance. Excellent. Another response, they say, everything happens in your life, whether it's perceived as good or bad, happens for a reason. Now, sometimes we're looking at things and the mind just can't wrap itself around it. Balance. Come back into this open nothingness space. Your center, find some balance. And the mind is going to want to make sense out of it. This is completely normal. But come back to this balance. Very good. And they go on to say, there are no coincidences. There are no coincidences, only allowing and surrendering. Everything happens for good. And ask yourself, can I see the good? So as all of this stuff is going on in our reality, can you see the good? Can you see that we have been asking for change, and now change is starting to manifest? We have been asking for change for years, and now change is starting to manifest. But so many of us don't like change, and we're thrown off balance. Very good. So in the next one, we're going to start to see something bigger than us. So this is part 4 of our series of seeing something or feeling something. There's something larger happening. We can't wrap ourselves around it, but something larger than us is happening. And this was the 4th thing that hundreds of people thought that you should know, what you should know while you're learning about your spiritual awakening journey. So I will see you in the next video in part 4. Thank you for being on this journey with me, and keep being amazing.